This podcast is brought to you by San Diego County Toyota Dealers. We've got what it takes. Fix Auto, Corky's Pest Control, and Lolita's Family of Restaurants. Welcome to the regular season finale of the San Diego Prep Insider Podcast. Tommy Morris, Chris Smith, Christian Pedersen, and Montel Allen down there in the corner.
What's
Guys,
up,
how we
Montel?
doing?
Great day. Football. Go Cubs.
Go Cubs.
Sorry.
Montel, how you feeling out there in internet land?
Hey man, everything's good. Everything's good. Just ready for this week of football, seeing what's going to happen, see how everything's going to fall out.
So there's a reason why I'm wearing these glasses. Chris and I are going to go through a little explanation on how the power rankings work because I know there's a lot of confusion. We're going to have a special guest from Cathedral. I'm not going to name you. Build a little suspense here. Yeah.
Ooh.
Try to be suspense.
Everyone from that team would be a special guest, so we were making it as ambiguous as possible.
That's true. So we got to start as we always do with our top 10s. Chris, take it away.
Oh, all right. Let's start off with number 10. Quarterback Jeffrey Jackson is on fire, and that Knight defense led by Daniel Anderson and Justin Woodley, the Knights are my number 10 team. After a tough loss for a very stingy defense, Hunter Gaines, Chevelle Sterling, and Dominic Guevara are still one of the top offenses in San Diego County. The Hillers are my number 9 team. The scoring machine Joey Moronis is taking the Christian Patriots to the promised land. Still unbeaten and coming off a blowout win against Point Loma. The Patriots are my number 8 team. Okay, first of all, I gotta say congrats and a big shout out to head coach Ron Gladnick over there at Torrey Pines and wide receiver Scotty Gaines for a huge win last week over Mission Hills. Yes, I picked Jack Tuttle and Sam Dixon, and you guys proved me wrong.
Guilty as well.
Torrey Pines,
there for that one.
Yeah.
Torrey Pines is making noise with wins over Oceanside.
I got that one right. Sorry.
Can I get back to
Yeah,
my
sorry. Yeah.
So Torrey Pines has wins over Oceanside and Mission Hills, and they're making noise, and they're making a run for the league title. The coach Gladnick has these guys dialed in and playing well on both sides of the ball. The Falcons are my number 17.
Hashtag Go Falcons.
Jared Adelman is a nightmare for opposing defenses. Last week he ran for 311 yards on 26 carries. To say he is a workhorse is an understatement. Right now, he is my leading candidate for the MVP for the San Diego CIF section.
Yeah, he's like a work carrot. He's like a bunch of horses combined into one.
Okay, the Titans are my number 16.
I told you guys about it. I told you, Chris.
Quarterback Chris Jones recently picked up an offer from Seton Hill, and he is the latest Crusader to pick up a college offer, joining CJ Riddell and Kyle Moses. And with multiple college offers for players, the Crusaders of Mater Dei are my number 5 team. Week after week, strong safety and University of Arizona commit Scotty Young and uncommitted Helix linebacker Zeke Noah. We're always talking about them every week. But quietly, the quarterback, junior Carson Baker, has racked up 1,893 passing yards, 17 TDs versus 5 interceptions, and averaging 210 passing yards a game with a QBR of 121.5. And his QB play is a big reason why they went on that big, long winning streak. Helix is my number 14. Congrats to running back Milan Grice on reaching a 1,000-yard rushing mark for the second time in his career. He leads the offense for Rancho Bernardo and is carrying the Broncos into the playoffs. With the return of Mark Salazar from a broken collarbone returning last week, the Broncos are back at full strength heading into the final game of the season. They face Poway this weekend. That's going to be a big game and a dogfight for both teams. The Broncos are my number 3 team. First and foremost, congrats to Eric Buchanan on reaching 1,120 yards rushing on the season. A new career high for Eric. Congratulations, good job. He has 115 carries to Warhawks and is averaging a staggering 9.7 yards a carry. That's almost a first down every time the kid touches the ball. With that offense, the Warhawks are my number 2 team.
And hashtag Buck Nasty, baby.
Right, that one's harder to read, but that's
which means I have a new number 1.
Ooh.
After a shutout of St. Augustine last week in the Holy Bowl, the Dons proved to me they deserve to be the number 1 team in San Diego CIF section. Running back Shawn Poma stole the night. 16 carries and 112 yards, averaging 7 yards a carry. The kid has arrived. With Eastwood needing some rest before the playoffs, Poma showed that he showed the entire county that he can carry the load. I'm sure we'll hear more about him in the years to come, considering he's only a sophomore. Sean Doyle and the Dons are my new number 1 team.
Hey, it'd be kind of cool to have him be part of the podcast, anything?
No way would he come hang out.
No way would he come hang out with us. I don't think we can ever make that happen. Anyway, Montel, who are your top 10 teams in San Diego?
go through mine pretty quick. I got number 10, Bishops. Big 3D over there running things. Like you said, the quarterback and the Jackson brothers they're phenomenal right now. They're playing on a high level. Number 9, I got Christian. Score Machine Morones and Stein. And my man over there, Goodwin. One of the fastest guys in the county at receiver. I got number 8, Grossman. I got number 7, Torrey Pines. Number 6, Poway. Number 5, Mater Dei. 4, Helix. 3, RB. 2, Madison Warhawks. Good shout out to those guys. And number 1, who's been number 1 for like the last 5 weeks, I think, on mine, the Dons. Hard to stop those guys.
All right, so I'll give my top 10, very similar to everyone's pretty much. We got Grossman at number 10. Number 9 are the Bishops Knights. 8 is Saints. 7 is Christian. 6 is Poway. 5 is Mater Dei. Helix at 4. RB at 3. Madison 2. And Cathedral 1. So guys, some shout outs from last week. Christian, we'll start with you.
Okay, I'll make this quick. First down goes to Gus Ferreira and Hilltop. Gus set several receiving records during that game, and Hilltop beat Chula Vista to win the Kiwanis Cup, so congratulations to them. Great bounce back win there. Second down shout out goes to the entirety of Falcons Nation and Torrey Pines, because y'all can't be sleeping on the boys anymore. 7-2 on fire. Great win. Third one goes to Cathedral Catholic for, I will say that was basically a reenactment of the actual Crusades. Like, it was bloody. That was bad. I was wrong about that one.
His words, not mine.
That was ugh. And my fourth down shout out goes to all the boss hogs in the county who are undefeated currently. Cathedral, RB, Poway, Bishops, Christian. It is not easy being 9-0. So congratulations there. And to all the teams that are chasing them.
Chris, what do you think? Shout outs?
I'll go a different direction. First down goes to the sensational senior running back from Poway. That's Jared Adelman. We talked about it earlier. 311 yards on 26 carries. My leader for MVP in San Diego section right now. Second down goes to Madison's running back, Eric Buchanan. Buck set a new career high in rushing with 1,120 yards this year, eclipsing what he had last year with a combined over 2,000 yards in the last 2 years. Great job. My third down, we're going to go up north. Now we're going to go to a receiver. And it is Blaine Bailey's favorite targeted wide receiver, Malachi Russell, who is absolutely killing it. 60 receptions in 8 games. 1,154 receiving yards. 17 TDs. That kid's putting on a clinic at wide receiver up there. And my fourth down, I'm going to go to the other side of the ball, go to defense, and I'm going to pick up Mount Carmel's defensive end, Chemeki Ochi. At 12.5 sacks in 8 games this season, he gets my fourth down shout out.
Monta, anyone you want to talk about?
Absolutely. My first down goes to Valley Center Squad, 8-1. They're putting on the clinic. No one's mentioned those guys. They're playing great ball. Daniel Belcher, the running back, has 908 yards rushing. Brock Moffitt, the receivers, 34 receptions for 577 yards. And Ricky Mazzetti, the quarterback, has thrown over 1,800 yards over there. So those guys are putting up numbers. We don't talk about them a lot out there, but at 8-1, they got to be mentioned what's going on in the county this year. Second shout out goes to Marvis's Kirill Sproul. Guys, nearly got 1,500 yards rushing and 19 touchdowns this season.
And he missed some games. And he missed some games.
Yes, and he missed. I mean, the guy's just playing phenomenal out of his mind. He's running. He's a stud, to say the least. Third shout out, I'm going to go on a smaller route to the Rock Academy, Colin Mollers. Guy's getting 221 all-purpose yards per game. He has over 1,200 rushing yards, 300 receiving yards, 40 tackles, and 7 sacks this year for them. Guy's balling out, regardless what level you're saying. He's just being a player.
That's talent.
And my fourth down goes out to the guys I told them I'm going to shout them out. I've been picking against them all year. They say they use me for motivation. Torrey Pines, 7-2. Hey, they deserve a double shout out on this right here. TP's been playing at a great. This has been playing great. They always prove me wrong. Luke Dorr, Sully O'Brien, Dave Gilmore, and Ty Helfridge, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But those guys, I'm going to give those seniors a shout out. They're leading that young team to a lot of wins. And let's get to see what they're going to do, how they're going to finish out the year.
All right, so those are our shout outs for this week. Before we get to our game picks, Chris, I think we need to teach the people a little bit about how the playoffs work, because there's a little bit of confusion. Should we jump on over the whiteboard?
Well, I think there's two guys that we should talk to about this. That's
Yeah.
Professor Tommy and Professor Smith. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go. Let's kick it on over to him.
And now, we are going to explain the power rankings. The only scientific way computer generated to make sure that every team accurately is seated correctly. And so what you have to see, man, that's all this. Tommy, what's all this mean?
All right, well, it's pretty simple, Chris. Let me explain it to you. First thing you got to know, power rankings are 100% based on math. There is no human input into this at all. The way it works, each game that you play is assigned a point value. So if you take a look at the screen we got here, we got the grid. So if you're a Division I team and your win-loss record is above 75%, beating you is worth 50 points. So if you extrapolate that throughout the whole entire landscape of divisions and teams' records, that's how many points you're going to get for every single game that you either win or lose, depending on the win or the loss, right? So, anything you want to...
Yeah, one of the things I want to mention is a lot of teams seem to think just because when you beat them, say they were 48 points, that later in the season, you're still going to get 48 points. Not true.
Yeah.
It actually is cumulative. So if that team was 2-3 when you beat them, and they're 60%, but later in the season they've lost 7 games, now they're in the lower seed in that bracket. And so you're not going to get the same points.
And this is especially important to remember going into the last week of the season, because the majority of the teams play 10 games, right? So assuming that everyone plays 10 games, if you're a 2-win team, if you're a 4-win team, going into that last game, you win a game. That means that everyone else on your schedule gains 0.2 points to their total power rankings. So there is a lot of teams out there in San Diego that fall into that category. So you can't yet really say, oh, if this team beats this team, that's how many points you're going to get, because it's all going to change after the end of the last week of the season.
But I do remember that we were going to cover one team. You want to get to it?
Yeah.
Back to what we're talking about tonight. Madison was our example, currently sitting at 8-1 with an average of 44.89 with their power ranking right now. Why is that important? And people wonder, how are they 8-1 but sitting at an 8 seed? Well, there were 3 important games to think about. The game against Mount Miguel. Mount Miguel is a Division II with a losing record of 2-7, which means they only get 43 points for that game. 2 other games on their schedule also hurt them. The game against Mira Mesa and the game against Bonita Vista, both only giving them 43 points because their losing records and their winning percentage is in the lower echelon tier of Division II. And the flip side of that, the blowout win they had against the Saints, a powerhouse in Division I, gives them 50 points. So you can see how in this equation, scheduling teams that are Division II with a lower winning percentage will actually hurt your chances in the open division.
But hang on a second here, Chris, and this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier. It's a cumulative thing. So we got to take into account their whole entire work for all these teams. So take a look at this. Mount Miguel, 2-7, right? To bump them up another tier in Division II, they have to have a winning percentage of over 25%, which means if they win their game this weekend, they become a 30% team. Bump that up, this becomes 45. Same with Bonita Vista. And the flip side with Saints. If Saints loses, they go from being a 75% and up team to below that, dropping down a tier, making this game only worth 48 points. So as you can see, it's not as simple as if we win this week, we get this many points. It's also a matter of who you played and how they do in this final week, because all this can change. Well, Chris, that all made sense to me. I don't know if it made sense to you.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, hopefully it made sense to all of you out there as well. And if it didn't, don't be shy. Tweet at me at Real Tommy Morris. Tweet at Chris at NBA Sports 2. We will answer any questions that you have. This is a lot of math. A lot of confusing stuff.
Not only that, but I do like the fact that the power rankings are computer generated. It rewards teams for their wins and losses and their schedule. There's no more human element, no more putting 45 to 80 coaches into one room and voting on who the best team in San Diego is. This is really the only mathematical way to figure out who the best of the best is and make those guys play in the open division.
Getting kind of bored. Oh, okay, Chris. Chris is back. Come on, Chris. Get in here. You found somebody.
I did. I'd like to introduce
Who's this
you.
guy?
Well,
Come on in. Come on in. This isn't Tommy.
No.
This is better than Tommy.
This is none other.
This is a star.
Cathedral's running back, Shawn Poma.
Nice to meet you, man.
What?
You see this, Montel? Look at this.
Well, how you doing, sir?
Doing good.
We said he said he couldn't get him, but he's here. It's crazy. Hey. The magic of television.
It's nice to be the chosen one, man.
It's nice to be the chosen one indeed. Good to be the king. So, Shawn, what we're going to have you do is help us pick some games. It's going to be real simple. We're going to tell you a game. You can pick it out of a hat. You can close your eyes, throw darts. You can actually make a scientific pick, however you want to make, whoever you want to make. Tommy, I believe, is still over in the lab. So Tommy, you want to set up this first game for us?
First game we got to get to, Battle in East County, Valhalla and Helix. I'm going to go with Helix. Helix, guys, what about you?
I think that was kind of an obvious pick. I mean, you know, we all know how Tommy picks anyway. I'm going to take Helix as well. Scotty Young, Zeke Noah, Riri Patone, Jonathan Millsap. Too much defense for Jerome Johnson and Valhalla, so I'm going to take Helix.
I will also go with Helix. You don't need to say the players. Everyone knows who they are. You don't need to say the stats. Everyone knows what they are. Helix is a good football team. Valhalla is a good football team. Just think that Helix is a little bit better football team. Shawn?
I also agree with both of you. Helix defense is out of this world, and so that's what I'm going with.
You know, I think you have first-hand knowledge of that, right?
Yep. I remember that game.
Okay.
That's what's up. Little first-hand experience.
Oh, for me, speed kills. Helix, baby. I mean, they're just a little bit too fast for Valhalla.
Another rivalry, guys. We're going to pick this next one. It's Torrey Pines at LCC. I'm going to go with LCC. Back over to you.
Well, let's figure. I've picked against Torrey Pines all year long. I'm not making that mistake again. I'm taking Torrey Pines. They picked up a good win against Mission Hills. They beat Oceanside. I've learned my lesson. Coach Ron Gladnick has these dudes dialed in. I'm taking Torrey Pines in this one.
Simple. Falcons. Torrey Pines.
We played against Torrey Pines. We know what their offense and defense like, so that's what I'm going with.
Montel?
Man, every time they say I motivate them, so I'm gonna give them some room to motivate this time. I'm gonna go with LCC. Now LCC to beat them. I think Tanner Clark. They're at home. It's gonna be the last game of the season. Everybody's gonna get all riled up. I'm gonna go with LCC, but Torrey Pines. I see you guys out there. Let's go.
Down in the South Bay, it's Olympian traveling to Mater Dei. My pick in this one, M-A-T-E-R. Well, let's just take it forever to write. So guys, send it over to you while I finish writing this.
Ooh, love this game right here. We got Olympian versus Mater Dei. My pick, I'm gonna tell you something. I had Dominic Guadino in the lab last week. That dude is massive.
He's a Mack truck.
Yeah, well, that's the second time you called him a Mack truck.
I
wouldn't
stick
do
with
that, but he does. Anyway, even with that said, I don't think the Eagles have enough weapons on offense or defense to stop all those guys over at Mater Dei. I'm gonna take Chris Jones, Kyle Moses. Am I forgetting some running back? Oh yeah, CJ Verdell. Those dudes over there at Mater Dei. I'm taking Mater Dei.
The future of Oregon. I am going to stick with Olympian for, I'll call it Olympian making the upset. You know, Olympian has put themselves kind of on the map this year with a couple of really big resounding wins. I think that they just have the right mentality to make the necessary plays in the fourth quarter. So I'll say Olympian with the upset.
I will be going with Mater Dei. CJ Verdell, no one's stopping that guy.
Running backs like running backs. Makes sense. Montel?
I see a Mack truck going against a Corvette in a race. You know, CJ Verdell, Guadino. I'm going to go with CJ Verdell and Mater Dei. I just think they got too many weapons over there. Too fast, too strong for Olympian. Mater Dei all the way.
All right, guys, a big game in North County. Rivalry. There's all the playoff stuff on the line for this one. It is RB traveling to Poway. Give me the Broncos.
Oh, this game hurts. I love both of these teams, and they're a mirror. One's a D1, one's a D2, but they're both powerhouses and they're both undefeated. You've got extremely talented running backs on both sides of the ball. You got quarterbacks getting it done. You got defenses that cause turnovers. This one hurts, but I think with Mark Salazar back and taking the pressure off Milan Grice to carry the ball all the time, I think they're a better team. I think this is still going to be a dogfight. And I think the Titans are going to be in this until late in the game, and the turnover is going to decide the final outcome. But I got to go Rancho Bernardo on this one.
Very nice. I will join you. I think RB is a really, truly, genuinely multifaceted team. They are one of the few teams in the county that really has a little bit of everything. I see RB winning this one.
there's going to be a dogfight out there, but I think RB has a little bit more talent.
There you go. Montel, is it going to be a clean sweep?
Man, I've been going with Edelman all year. All year, man. That's my good guy. I love him to death. I think he's one of the top running backs in the county. But this week they're going to meet their match. It's going to be RB. Salazar, Bryce, boys just got a little bit too much, I think. I think Poway, they have to have Edelman in the game. He's the calm that causes everything. I think RB has enough to contain him a little bit, at least enough for them to be able to get the win. RB is with the W.
So there it is, Poway. All of us took Rancho Bernardo. And you know what that means. If we're wrong, we expect to hear from you on Twitter.
Next one is a big one in the Costa League. Country Day, Santa Fe Christian. This hurts, guys. This hurts. It hurts me to write this. I didn't want to do that. Send it over to you guys.
I'm going with my dude, the general, the dude breaking all the records. I'm taking La Jolla Country Day and Braxton Burmeister.
This is weird. Tommy against Chris Ford. I don't even know what to say right now, but other than Country Day, I don't know why that's much. Country Day, baby.
I'm going with Country Day. The QB's been breaking records, and so.
You gonna break some records someday?
Hopefully.
There we go. That's what's up. Montel, how about you?
Man, I feel Tommy, and I know Tommy's going with this. Country Day always has a tough time with Santa Fe Christian every year. I think, though, that Burmeister's going to go out with a bang. I think they got a little bit of a strong air game for him, and SFC's has been so inconsistent this year. So I'm going to go with Country Day because I bleed blue. I'm going with that.
You might need to get that checked out.
Final game of the weekend of the season before playoffs. We have a bunch of special treats for playoffs for you. We're going to explain that a little bit later. But it is Madison Cathedral, big one. My number one versus number two. I think everyone else's number one versus number two. So this is going to be the biggest game all year. Thank goodness it is happening in week 10. Shawn, go with you guys. Please make me look good.
All right, this game has open division implications. With a Madison loss to Cathedral and a Torrey Pines win, Madison may be sitting at 8-2, but they might be outside the dance looking in at the open division. With that said, Torrey Pines would be in and Madison would be out. Rick Jackson no doubt has the squad ready for this showdown. And I think Cathedral will try to run the ball and chew the clock out. They're going to try to grind this out, slow things down, while Madison's going to benefit from a fast-paced shootout. Tempo is going to decide this game. I'm taking Cathedral. It's tough to pick against Madison, but I think the depth of the Dons is going to make the difference in this one.
Can you do this for a second? Madison. Montel?
Homer pick.
I'm going to go a different route. I think that I question some of the, everybody's beat up right now. I think Madison's a little beat up. I think, with TC coming off that concussion protocol, I know he'll be all right for the game. I don't know if Madison can keep, at least from him, stop getting hit the whole game. He's going to get hit sometime in the game. That may cause a little bit of problems. And Dons are going for that conference title. They're going for a clean sweep. I think they're trying to go state all the way, get a top seed in the open. And I'm not picking against the number one team until they lose. Dons.
So we can work out our issues after the episode if you want. We're not going to ask you, though, to pick the next game because I'm pretty sure we would assume that you would go with you guys. So we'll give you a different one. We'll throw you a little curveball. Okay. San Marcos, Mission Hills. How do you see it?
I'll go with Mission Hills. They've been on a roll, and I know Samuel Dixon over there is going to run the ball.
So there you go. So that rounds out the end of our regular season, guys. Thank you very much. Shawn, thank you very much for checking in with us. Please go watch this kid play on Friday. He's worth the price of admission to a game that is also worth it. You cannot go wrong with watching that game on Friday. Madison Cathedral. It's bigger than any San Diego State game that's happened in this year. It's bigger than any Chargers game that's happened this year. It is the premier football game that has happened in this county. You're going to need to watch it.
Hey, it's better than the Chargers game right about now.
That's what I'm saying, baby. That's real football. Melvin Gordon does not hold a candle to this cat right here.
Hey, Cathedral Madison.
Hey, by the way, I just want to ask you guys, remember at the beginning of the year we talked about our top 5 running backs? Wasn't he on the list? Whose list was he on?
Not mine.
He was on my list. Thank you.
I slept on it. I'm sorry about that.
Wait. Who's your number one running back? Whose list was he on?
Me?
Oh, Adelman? Yeah, okay. He was on your list. You got it.
Well, we don't need to rehash anything further because that is the end of the regular season. We now move into playoffs next time you'll see us. Guys, thank you very much. Tommy, enjoy your time over in the lab, and we will all meet back up for the playoffs, guys. Everyone go check out a game, and thank you very much for tuning in.
Good luck, Sean. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.